Okay, let's just jump right in because this is, well, it's pretty stunning. Today, October 15th, 2025, in Moscow,
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin is shaking hands with Ahmed al-Sharaa, Syria's interim president.
Right. The optics alone are just something else.
But the truly mind-bending part is who al-Sharaa used to be. Abu Mohammed al-Julani.
The former head of al-Qaeda's branch in Syria. The man fighting against Assad who was Putin's key ally.
Exactly. Now he's in the Kremlin talking about redefining the relationship.
Yeah.
It's radical, a total reset attempt.
Welcome to the military point.
Before we get deeper into this, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a comment. Where are you watching from today? Let us know.
So our mission here is to really unpack this meeting. We're looking at the facts, trying to figure out, what does Syria need right now? What's Russia trying to get out of this?
Yeah.
And hovering over it all is the massive question mark of Bashar al-Assad exiled in Russia.
It's incredibly high stakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pure political survival clashing with ideology.
Okay, so setting the scene a bit more. This is al-Sharaa's first state visit to Moscow.
Right, and it comes just, 10 months after Assad fled Syria.
10 months. Assad, who was the Kremlin's main guy in the region for decades.
And now the leader of the group that helped overthrow him is sitting down with Putin.
Yeah.
It's geopolitics in overdrive.
And al-Sharaa knew he had to frame this carefully right from the start. His public remarks with Putin were broadcast.
Very calculated. He didn't sound like someone asking for favors, more like someone stating new terms.
The key quote, and it's a fascinating bit of language, he said, Syria wants to restore and redefine in a new way the nature of these relations.
Redefine. That's the word doing all the heavy lifting there.
It sounds diplomatic, but it feels like a demand, doesn't it? Like the old rules under Assad, they're gone.
Exactly. It's a signal. And if you look at what he said right after, it becomes clearer. He linked redefine directly to core political goals.
What were those specifically?
He said the aim is achieving independence for Syria, sovereign Syria, and also its territorial unity and integrity, and its security stability.
So sovereignty is the banner he's waving, trying to break from that perception of Syria as just a Russian client state.
Precisely. Shifting the narrative to one of partnership, maybe, but an independent partnership, not dependency.
But, independence from Moscow often comes with conditions, especially when you need them.
Ah, yes, the pragmatic part. Because almost immediately after demanding this redefinition and sovereignty,
He made a big promise.
a crucial one, he assured Putin that Damascus would honor all past agreements signed with Moscow.
All of them. Justified it by citing bilateral relations and shared interests.
Which basically means, we need you, we know the old deals benefit you, so we'll keep them.
And those old deals, we're talking about significant military infrastructure, right?
Absolutely. That's the unspoken trade-off right there.
Yeah.
When he says all past agreements, he's talking primarily about Russia's military base
And the Maimim Air Base.
and the Tartus Naval Facility. Russia's only real warm water port access outside the old Soviet Union. Hugely strategic.
So those agreements, often long leases, like 49 years with special rights, they stay.
That seems to be the core bargain. Moscow gets to keep its vital strategic assets, its power projection platform in the Med.
And in return, Syria under al-Sharaa gets recognition, support.
Legitimacy, potentially rebuilding aid, continued supplies. For Moscow, the bases are likely more important than who's officially in charge in Damascus, as long as they're stable and compliant on that issue.
The sheer realpolitik is breathtaking. But let's tackle the history head on. The elephant in the room.
The Julani factor.
Yeah. President Ahmed al-Sharaa is Abu Mohammed al-Julani, former leader of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, previously Jabhat al-Nusra, the al-Qaeda affiliate.
It's an undeniable, incredibly awkward fact. Russia spent years bombing his group, designating him a terrorist. Now they're rolling out the red carpet.
The diplomatic gymnastics involved must be extraordinary. How does Putin sell this back home, or even internationally?
Well, publicly, they focus on the new reality in Syria, the need for stability, shared interests. But privately, it's a massive political risk. They're essentially normalizing a figure they spent years demonizing.
And it gets even more complex. News agencies, Reuters, AFP, they're reporting that Syrian officials confirmed al-Sharaa has another ask.
Yes. The Assad question.
He apparently plans to formally request that Moscow hand over Bashar al-Assad.
Who Russia has been hosting since he fled Syria.
Right. Talk about adding tension to the mix.
It's a politically charged demand. Essential for al-Sharaa's credibility back home, showing he's breaking completely with the past regime.
But did he say this publicly in those televised remarks?
No. And that's key. The reports say there was no mention of the sensitive diplomatic matter in the public comments.
So that particular bomb is being handled strictly behind closed doors. Shows how delicate this whole visit is.
Extremely delicate. They're managing the optics very, very carefully.
What do you think the chances are? Will Russia actually hand over Assad?
Oh, that's the billion-dollar question. On one hand, Russia values loyalty, and protecting former allies sends a message. Abandoning Assad looks bad. But holding on to him could poison this new, potentially vital relationship with the current Syrian leadership. Moscow prizes stability and its strategic assets above all. If Assad becomes an obstacle, well, pragmatism might win out.
It's a horrible calculation for them to make.
And it's not just about Russia and Syria. Think about the regional players, Iran, for instance, key Assad ally. How do they feel about this Moscow meeting?
And they've been pretty quiet, haven't they?
Conspicuously quiet. And Turkey. They have their own complex relationship with al-Sharaa group and huge interests in northern Syria. They must be watching this very closely.
This single meeting potentially redraws the map of influence in the region.
It absolutely does. Which brings us back to how both sides are justifying this pivot.
Right. How did Putin actually respond publicly?
Publicly, it was all diplomatic warmth. Putin welcomed al-Sharaa, talked about decades of special relations, conveniently skipping the last decade or so.
Yes.
And claimed Moscow was always guided by the interests of the Syrian people. Standard diplomatic language to smooth over a very rough history.
Did he acknowledge the change in leadership more directly?
Oh, yes. He specifically praised the recent parliamentary elections in Syria, the first since Assad's fall, called them a great success.
A great success. Already.
Yep. And said they'd lead to the consolidation of society and strengthen cooperation, basically giving the new government his stamp of approval.
It sounds like Russia is choosing pragmatism, pure and simple, granting legitimacy in exchange for, well, for the bases and stability.
That seems to be the calculus. Does Moscow trust al-Sharaa? Probably not in the traditional sense. Do they see him as potentially useful for securing their core interests?
Yeah.
Yes. Utility trumps trust here.
And looking at it from Damascus, why make this deal with the devil, so to speak? They fought Russia's ally for 13 years.
Survival, plain and simple. The new Syrian government under al-Sharaa knows they can't go it alone.
They need help rebuilding the country, obviously. It's devastating.
Massively. And they desperately need international legitimacy. Recognition from a UN Security Council member like Russia is invaluable for that. It helps normalize them on the world stage.
Al-Sharaa himself basically admitted this dependence recently, didn't he, in that CBS interview?
He did. He was quite blunt about Syria relying on Russian supplies. Energy, food, critical stuff.
He used the phrase basic structure of the state and mentioned old strategic interests. Sounds like an acknowledgement of reality.
Absolutely. He knows Syria needs Russia right now for basic functioning, let alone rebuilding. You can't run a country on revolutionary ideology alone when people are starving.
So that dependency gives Moscow huge leverage.
It's their main card. Russia engages with al-Sharaa not out of any newfound affection, but because they need to secure their position. Those bases, Khmeimim and Tartus, are non-negotiable.
They project power across the eastern Mediterranean. Keep an eye on NATO's southern flank.
Exactly. They're vital geopolitical real estate. Moscow wants to lock down agreements, ensuring those bases remain functional and secure under the new Syrian government.
And the reports of continued Russian oil shipments to Syria, even during the transition.
That just underlines the point. Resources, geography, military assets, these are the currencies that matter here, more than past allegiances or ideologies.
It sets a precedent, though, doesn't it? That alliances can flip overnight based purely on who controls the territory and the assets. Potentially a dangerous one.
It's the ultimate lesson in realpolitik playing out right now. You have this controversial new government in Syria,
led by a former designated terrorist,
trying to secure its own future by cutting deals with the main backer of the regime it just overthrew.
It shows how fast those old strategic interests, bases, resources can push sworn enemies into a room together.
History and ideology seem to take a backseat when survival and strategic positioning are on the line.
So the big takeaway is the sheer speed and pragmatism of this shift. But it leaves a huge question hanging. If al-Sharaa has to honor all past agreements to get Russian cooperation, meaning those base leases essentially stay locked in, is that really the redefinition towards full sovereignty he promised?
Or is it just swapping one form of dependency for another, perhaps? A new patron, maybe slightly different terms, but still fundamentally reliant on Moscow for security and stability.
That's the knife edge Syria is walking right now. Is this genuine independence or just strategic repositioning under Moscow's umbrella.
It's the core paradox they face. How to secure the state without sacrificing the sovereignty they claim to have won.
You've been listening to The Military Point. Stay sharp, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time.